Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about going from 0 to 6-figure run rate with copywriting in about 120 days. So here's the story. Basically, I've tried a lot of different side hustles, businesses, online and offline. I've bought and sold stuff. I've tried to start different agencies. I've tried drop shipping, and I've made decent amount of money here and there, but nothing ever really took off and became substantial. So in this video, I want to talk about how I started to gain traction and how I actually started to make one of these things work and take it from basically nothing in the fall to basically a 6-figure run rate this month. So at the time of recording this video, it is early February, and for this month, I've just collected just over 8,500 or about 9,000 Canadian. So that's so far, and going forward, hopefully there'll be more, but this is the first month where I've hit an actual sort of 6-figure number, which means that it's gotta be about over 8,500 per month. So no, I have not made 6 figures yet, but if I can keep this up, and that's the plan, then this is a 6-figure month. So that's the idea. That said, let's get into basically 3 things that helped me do this and allowed me to go through this process to actually get some traction and make this work. So the number one thing is mindset. And that probably sounds lame, and you've probably heard lots of people say that before, but it really is true. So with other things that I've tried, I've often switched before I really got any traction, or I'd lose confidence, I'd doubt myself, and so I would not stick with something long enough to get good results. I'd see some results and then I would be like, not really for me. I'd get distracted, I'd try something else. So I kind of messed around with this copywriting thing for about 2 years and didn't really take it seriously until this past fall. So the first thing I did was I joined this community of other people who were doing this online, and there's all kinds of great things I can link up. There's all kinds of great resources like this. I can link up the one that I found helpful and that I used. You basically kind of just pay per month. So it is a paid thing, but it's pretty cheap. It's like a few bucks. And basically it's people ahead of me teaching me how to do this, and also just helping you get the right mindset around what it takes to succeed. So the number one thing was getting that mindset down, committing to it, and agreeing that I was going to stick with this even when I felt like I didn't want to. So getting my mindset right, framing it like I'm going to succeed at this, I'm going to make this work, and then planning to do that for, a few months, not just a few days. So getting your mindset right is the number one thing. The number two thing is knowledge. And this is honestly kind of the easy part. Knowledge is everywhere. You can learn stuff on YouTube, you can read books. You've got to know what to do and how to do it. This goes for the skills, whether that be copywriting like I'm doing, or maybe it's web design, or whatever it is that you want to kind of freelance with, or sell whatever service you want to sell. You need to learn about that. You need to get good at it, or better at it, and you need to learn how to deliver it. But that's not all. The other thing you need to learn is how do you reach out to people? What do you say to them to get them to say yes? You've got to learn sales. You've got to learn marketing. You've got to learn these different pieces. And the more you know, the easier it's going to be to execute on things. Now, you're still going to have to go and do the stuff, and that's the next step. But knowing this stuff and then actually feeling like you know enough to talk to someone about this or deliver on the service, that is important. You're always going to doubt yourself probably still. You'll always feel like you don't know enough, but you got to know something. So knowledge is a big piece of it too. I had some pieces of knowledge before, but I feel like when I really zeroed in and when I focused on making this succeed, I learned the things that I needed to learn, and I got interested in the specifics of basically pitching my service and getting people to say yes. So that's the third part of this, which is the action. If you don't take action, then nothing's gonna happen. And you've probably heard that before on different videos or podcasts or whatever, but it's pretty simple. Gotta change to change. I don't know who said that, but if you're not doing anything and you're wondering why nothing's happening, then that's probably why nothing's happening. So I started to actually reach out to people. I started making lists of businesses that I could pitch my services to. Specifically, what I'm doing is email marketing, which is basically writing down emails for businesses to send out to their customers so that they can make money. That is the idea, and turns out it works, and turns out that almost all businesses need money. It's better to work with the ones that actually have money, but businesses need this. That's the whole point. And so if you pitch to enough businesses that you do this and then you can get them results, then that's when this whole thing starts to kind of work. So taking action at the early stages means you've got to get a client, you've got to get someone to say yes to you, and that's the biggest challenge. And the best advice I can offer there is to actually do this, to actually start pitching. You can get stuck in the knowledge phase really easily, and that's going to be a problem. And I've done that a lot, and I think a lot of people do that, is you get as far as the knowledge phase, but then you stop and you don't actually take action. What I learned from another guy, Nate Schmidt is his name, on YouTube, is a lot of this comes down to putting offers in front of people. And if you're trying to grow or make money or start a business, but you're not actually ever putting offers in front of people, which could be ads, it could be cold emails, it could be Instagram DMs, it could be however you're doing it. But if those offers are not getting in front of people, then you're not going to grow your business. So that is the action piece that I started to really put in place, that I started to really move. So I was making lists of people on my laptop, businesses that I wanted to work with in the niche I wanted to work with. I was using, these tools to find the emails of the founders, and I'm literally, typing out emails to these people pitching my service. Hey, I saw that, I signed up for your email list. I think I could improve this. Or, hey, do you want fun emails? Do you need email content? However you word it, and we could get into that in another video, but you've got to do that outreach, and that is the hardest part, because your brain tells you that it's stupid and that it doesn't matter and that you should just give up, basically. But that only happens until someone says yes and you get on a call, and I'll get to that in a second. But all of a sudden someone says yes and you're like, oh my gosh, holy shit, this works. And it doesn't feel real until that point. So the action piece feels kind of stupid. It's kind of like working out when you're really out of shape. It's like, it feels really pointless because you're still fat and out of shape or whatever, but then you do it long enough and then that result becomes a reality. It's the same thing with outreach, and I think it's a difficult but a really good thing to go through, is taking that action even when it feels like it doesn't do anything, and then getting a result. Now, you don't want to be doing like the wrong things for too long. You want to focus on the things that actually get results, but that's another video too. But simply, that third thing is taking action. Alrighty, so what was the timeline of all this? I mentioned 120 days, so now is February. This was back in September. My summer business had really slowed down. I needed to make money. I knew I had enough skills to do this. I had kind of done it in the past. I'd kind of gotten a client here or there, but I couldn't keep them, and I didn't have the confidence, or I wasn't learning enough, so it kind of just fell apart. So I was starting from zero all over again, and this was in the end of September of 2022. So I kind of got serious. I started making a plan. I started making my list, and I started taking action. And at first, nothing really happened. I think I sent 150 to 200 emails and DMs over the first maybe 3 weeks, and honestly, nothing happened for 3 weeks. People just largely ignore you for the most part. If you're lucky, you'll get someone to respond and just say, don't send me a message, please, or take me off this list. So it's kind of a grind. It really is. But the timeline, I think, was to about mid-October. So maybe 3 weeks after I got started, I saw an influencer that I followed, and he was featuring this cool product. And I was like, that's neat. So I went to their Instagram page. They only had about 3,000 followers. So I just sent a DM. I was like, at the time, kind of my pitch, because I didn't even have any real experience or results, but I was like, hey, I like your brand. I saw you with this guy. I'd love to write you guys some fun infotainment style emails. That was kind of my pitch, because a lot of emails kind of suck. So I was like, I'm gonna write you this infotainment style. And the guy got back to me right away. He was super cool, and he was like, hey, that sounds great. I think I offered a free sample is what I did. So I said, yeah, if that sounds good, I'll write you a free sample. He said, that sounds great. He even sent me some of the product, which was cool. Turns out he loves the sample, and we got on a call. Really cool guy. He liked me, said he'd think about it. I kind of pitched him on the spot. What seemed like a pretty big amount of money to me, but turns out was, in relation to what they were making, it was not a lot. And that's the other piece of this, is that you start to your mindset around money changes. So on the call, I said $2,500 US a month, and plus 2.5% of the revenue I generate, which is a cool thing you can do with certain performance-based services, because it incentivizes you to do better. But yeah, this is about 3 weeks in. This guy says yes. We got on a call, and boom, I've landed this guy. I do not really know what I'm doing still because I'd written stuff, but then I was going to be managing their whole email management software for a pretty fast growing brand, which is what I realized very quickly was that this was actually a really good client because I got along with them. They wanted to be hands off enough to let me do my thing, and they were also growing really fast. There's tons of potential. So this was 3 weeks in, and boom, that was 2,500 really quickly. Their revenue actually doubled and turned just this month it doubled, so that my revenue, and you can do the math if you want, but my revenue turned into like over 5K per month American. So that was a big one right off the bat. Next, I started reaching out to and trying to leverage. That was the only cold thing that I've landed, to be honest. So I also started to try to leverage connections, and this is something you could do. I was like, hey, who do I know who might know someone who needs something? Anyways, turns out I got another sort of friend of a friend, and they needed something, so I pitched them. That was another 1,000 a month there, and so that was good. And then kept at it. That was maybe a month after that, so that was I think like November or something. So at that point it was about 6K, and then kept at it. Christmas was a bit slow. It's a tough time to reach out to people, so kind of like lapsed over there. And then finally just earlier this month, I closed another kind of connection that had sort of been on the radar, but I couldn't get through to them. I had tried reaching out before, but anyways, finally got in touch with them, and turned out they liked my work and they wanted to work together. So that was another 1,000 a month. So when you add it up, it was like just over 7K a month for this month here, and that's USD, right? So I'm in Canada, so if you convert it over, that ends up being just over 9,000 Canadian, and if you times that by 12, then you realize that that's about 100K a month, which is 6 figures, right? So that's how it all breaks down. And the other thing I want to say though is that this wasn't just like a straight line. It felt like up and down the whole time. I felt like giving up. Some days I kind of did give up. I didn't do the outreach that I wanted to do. And so it was a battle. It was a battle, and it still is a battle to continue to take action and then to deliver results for the people that I did actually end up landing. So that's basically how I went from zero with a little bit of experience to what's a pretty decent salary now. And it seems even weird to say that because I don't know what other job can you do that? I guess just sales basically, but it's kind of neat that you can learn a service fairly quickly and then you can scale that up basically depending on how hard you want to work and how much outreach you want to do. So hopefully that's helpful. It was neat to prove to myself that I could actually do this, and I've got tons to learn and tons to do still, and I need to get more efficient and better at everything basically, but my plan is to keep growing this and see what happens from there. I'd seen other people do this online, and like I said, I'd tried all these different things before: the drop shipping, the Facebook ads, flipping stuff on eBay, and I'd never really made that much progress. So you start to build up a limiting belief, and it starts to hurt your mindset because you're like, well, I can't actually do this because I've tried everything and I've failed. But like I said, making the plan, getting the mindset right, learning what I need to learn, getting around people, at least online, who, believed in me, so to speak, or could help me take the steps I needed to take and show me and encourage me, and then taking the action, that final piece of consistently taking the action to move forward with this and then get those results, that breaks those limiting beliefs and that shows you that it's possible. So there it is, guys. 0 to about 9K Canadian this month, which it's not six figures on its own, but it's 6 figures per month, and the plan is to only grow it from here, and so it should only go up. But that's basically my story. That's how I did it. I'll leave some resources down below, including the group that I joined, as well as kind of a free guide that I made that can kind of give you the ropes on how to do this. It won't show you everything, but it'll show you what helped me to do this, and hopefully that's helpful for you. Honestly, anyone can do this, I think. Depends on the skill that you pick or what your natural aptitudes are, but this is really possible. Like, people are, maybe they should be, but they're pretty cautious of like this online stuff, and it can sound really scammy, but it's the world we live in, and this is where jobs are going. And if you want to take a skill and then start pitching it, like, you can definitely do that, and that's what I did. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and like it if you do. I'm going to be doing more of these, and I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing and hopefully help you guys do the same if that's something you're into. So please, click the like button, please click the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon.